guys, welcome back. We are a new YouTube channel called Wild Horizons, where we're going to kind of showcase all our animals. So right now we have right about 50 reptiles, amphibians, all different kinds of animals. But today what we're going to do is we're going to create a new series that is called Best Beginner Reptiles, so best in class. Today we're going to be reviewing two types of reptiles. So these both are great beginner reptiles. Again, we're going to kind of do a heads-to-heads, see which one comes out on top. But the first one we're going to go after is our leopard gecko. So we actually have, right now we have 6 leopard geckos. We're going to showcase a couple of them today. The first one here, her name is Blaze. Her enclosure is actually right here behind us. She is in a temporary setup, but this is her. So she's in a little bin right now, and whoop, jumping all around. She wants to move all around. She is probably really hungry. She has not eaten yet today, so we thought we would get her out and kind of show her off a little bit here. She'll calm down a little bit once she realizes I'm actually handling her. But we'll put this out of the way here. What was this? Kind of get this little thing for her to sit on, and we're going to do a little feeding. So she's going to want to jump all around. Her enclosure is dirty. Cool. So we got her propped up here now. We're going to go ahead and feed her a couple different options. Again, we'll kind of go over a leopard gecko care, how easy they are, how not easy they are. They're really not that difficult to take care of. So they're a great beginner reptile. But we're going to kind of go over some, tank features, what to put in the tank, how to take care of them in general. They're great animals, super playful. They'll come up to you, eat right out of your hand. So we're going to feed her a couple different options today. One of which being dubia roaches, and the other being some mealworms. So she's wanting to move all around here. We'll get her back on this rock. What we're going to do to just kind of walk through how to feed them, what to feed them. They eat crickets, dubia roaches. Really, there's a bunch of different roaches out there you can feed them. Mealworms are great. We always dip them in calcium. So it is important to do this with every feeding, that you do calcium without D3. So there's, this is the little label for one from the REPTILE calcium from ZooMed. That is one of them, and they get a good little dusting every time we feed. And then once or twice a month, they're going to get, these are a couple different brands here. This is calcium with D3. So you're going to give this once or twice every month. This gets done to every single one of them. So we have 6 right now. But we're going to start off with some mealworms here while we're kind of talking about leopard geckos and all that kind of stuff. We're going to go over their tank and their setups. So right now she's in a 20-gallon. She gets a little bit stressed out when it's a bigger enclosure, so we got her in a little bit smaller enclosure right now. They really should be by themselves. You shouldn't really pair them up with a bunch of other animals here. I would say at minimum 20 gallons. Again, I use minimum kind of loosely because you really don't want to put them ever in minimum enclosures. They're a wild species. Yes, she's captive bred, but 40 gallons is ideal for adults. So for their enclosure themselves, we like to do a mixture of play sand, and then we do like half eco earth as well, kind of mix it in together. You can kind of see it in the substrate here, but they are a terrestrial reptile or lizard, so they will mainly stay on the ground. That's what terrestrial means. There's all different kinds of morphs as well for leopard geckos, but we'll kind of get some of these out real quick to keep her occupied while we kind of go over some other things about them. And those little cricket noises is all of these dubia roaches moving all around here. Kind of mix them up in some calcium. Where are you going, girl? Get back here. Here, we'll get her taken care of so she stops moving all around like crazy. Come here. I always use rubber tongs too when feeding, especially if they accidentally bite this. You don't want to have metal on their teeth, but they can be awesome pets. She does not want to eat right now. She's too intrigued about the light. We have a big light behind giving us some good lighting here. So she's not used to being in the spotlight. But again, mixing this calcium around, trying to get these, guys, as much calciumed up as we possibly can. Let's see if we can put her maybe out on the table. Maybe she'll do better there. But, here. Come here, girl. Tails can fall off as well, so just make sure you're careful with that. She does not want to eat right now. She just wants to explore. We can try and get some of our other ones out here. Oops. There we go. She's usually a great eater in her tank, so I thought she would be great, but she's not eating. So we'll kind of let those run around then. If she's not going to eat on those, she's probably not going to eat anything else right now. So, but kind of going over her enclosure, she is just moving all around. It is good to have a humid hide in their tank. So, you know, with them being a gecko, you know, they do obviously shed like other reptiles do. They need a hot, dry side to their enclosure, as well as a humid hide, like a warm, humid hide space. We like to do a little Tupperware, kind of cut a little hole out of it. It's the best way to do it, and I can kind of showcase that in other videos to kind of show setups about tanks. But you know, you want a cool side of the tank enclosure as well. So we always do glass for our leopards. They do great in it. Holds the humidity well. They don't need really high humidity. You know, they are typically found in Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan, areas like that. They don't live really in the desert. Kind of people hear those areas and they think, oh, it's a desert creature. It's not really a desert creature. They kind of stay away from the desert. But yeah, so they do make awesome animals. She's just wanting to move all around. So we have a lot more of a chill leopard gecko here. She's actually one of our rescues. She, as a little baby, like Cinder was and the other one, was actually scratched in the eye by a cat. So it's really important to obviously watch your animals. People get these lizards and they think they're super cute when they're small and they have them run around. They're animals, you know, other animals will mess with them. People don't know. You gotta do your research before you get any kind of an animal. So leopard geckos can live up to 25 years in captivity. Typically you're gonna see them range anywhere from 10 to 20 years, but they can live up to 25. So you got to understand, when you get a small baby reptile, they do get big. So people don't really understand that before they buy them. But it is good to know that they do get bigger. So before you get any kind of reptile, make sure you do your research before you purchase anything, obviously. But leopard geckos make awesome pets. Again, there's so many different kinds of morphs out there that you really can kind of get whatever color you want to. So I say color, there's morphs is what they're called, but we have all different kinds here. But we'll get a couple of these guys out, see if she will eat. Drop a comment down below. We need a name for a couple of our leopard geckos here. So we have 3 adult leopard geckos that are not named. Then we have that little baby that is also not named. So let's see if she wants to eat it all. She's usually a pretty good eater, but she doesn't want to eat either. So we can kind of show her off a little bit. I can kind of bring her up to the camera. She actually has another sister and her mom that she lives in the enclosure with. So I said earlier, they don't typically, they're not typically great when housed together. They can get aggressive towards each other, especially when feeding. We have them right now in a 40-gallon. So the mom actually produced 2 babies. They're both with her. They've been awesome. So we've had them now for almost a year. Never had any issues. Obviously, they're adults. They're about 4 or 5 years old, and the mom is about 8 or 9 years old. So they do fantastic together. You can kind of see her. Whoop. She wants to go exploring too, but you can kind of see her there. Her right eye, which is this one right here, is the one that was hurt. It's still in there. She's kind of scratched up, so she doesn't see out of it very well. But let's see, maybe if she'll eat some little critters here out of her hand. Let's see. Hey, really, girl. Do you want this? Nope. You don't want this. Nope. Nope. She doesn't want it either. So that's pretty much it about leopards. They can be quick, so you want to make sure you're on your feet. They will, I think honestly right now they're kind of just spastic because they see this huge light behind them and they're not used to being out like this, so kind of run all over the place. But again, guys, they make an awesome pet, especially for beginners. You just want to make sure with any animal you do your research. So that'll be it for leopard geckos. Next is going to be bearded dragons. So this is Inferno. He is our bearded dragon. So he is an awesome animal. He will just chill with you and sit and hang out. He is the sweetest little boy, and he will cuddle with you. So we're kind of going to go over the care of bearded dragons. They are very similar to leopard geckos in the fact that they're a reptile. They shed. They kind of have similar needs, but obviously he's a little bit bigger than a leopard gecko. So he's just going to hang out my shoulder for a few minutes here while we kind of talk about him. This is another reptile too that can obviously get pretty large. You saw the leopard gecko adult was maybe this long, and he is double that size. So he's kind of going to crawl around here on my back. If I can kind of get him here. Oh, he's okay. Get rid of the bus. Okay, he's just wanting to go on my head. He can do that. So we'll talk about him a little bit here. He is currently shedding. So if you see any discoloration, that is why. So you can obviously see some shed here on the table. But we'll kind of talk about him a little bit. Again, they can be awesome animals. They're a great beginner reptile. We'll kind of go over the care needs of him just like we did with a leopard. At a minimum, you're going to want him in a 40-gallon. So as a baby, they can be in 20s. I always recommend, you know, it's not that much of a difference from pricing if that's your concern between a 20 and a 40. And space-wise, he's going to need much bigger when he's an adult. So he's just moving all around here. But I would say when they're full-grown adults, you know, minimum 75 gallons is best. We have ours in a 125. He does awesome. We actually had another bearded dragon a little while ago, and he was in a 125 and got a little bit stressed. So you just gotta, you know, obviously these are animals. They all have different needs for everything. So they can have different, you know, behaviors, and they can act differently. So what is he doing there? We'll kind of go over a feeding here with him in just a second. He just woke up from a nap, so he's wanting to do some exploring, but he loves his meals, so he will not pass. Right now, we're going to kind of go over some feeding, so very similar care. Again, REPTICalcium. This is with out D3, and then again, once or twice a month, we give the D3 with it. It has minerals in it as well. But we'll kind of just use some of the mealworms and dubia roach that was from before. He is going to run around. So we'll pull him back over here for a minute. Maybe he'll just sit right here if we do this for a second while we get all these guys out. So, again, you're going to feed him. He loves giving us kisses. Oh, I think he already sees some of them. Here, Bubba, you want those? Oh, yeah. No, he does not. He does not want them. Here, you want these? No, you just want to go run around. He loves running around and exploring. So, guys, when you get bearded dragons, just like your leopard geckos, they're going to want to run around, especially when they're out. Have enough space, obviously, to care for this guy. But I think once he figures out what I'm trying to do and feed him here, that he will go to town, which he is now. He loves his little snacks. So obviously as adults, they mainly eat greens, so collard greens, other types of greens like that. We do mix ours with some dubia roaches and mealworms, crickets, you know, every now and then too. But he absolutely loves his dubia roaches and his other types of little bugs there. You'll see him go to town. So again, these guys are native to Australia. They can get pretty big. So we're talking, you know, I've seen them some up to two feet long. They can get pretty big. So you want to make sure that you have a housing tree and space to be able to take care of them. Actually, here, grab some of these out. Again, using tongs, because if we're going to hand feed like this, you want to make sure he doesn't want to tongue feed, and he's running away again. He's camera shy, I guess. So kind of lace him out, see if he wants to eat any. Here, buddy. You want some? Is that it? Is that all I put in here? I think so. Yep. Do you want any of these? Look. Here. You want to get kisses? No? You want to run away? Okay. Here. he just wants to keep running away. So we'll just put him on my shoulder because he will go up there. So our dog is actually looking over here wanting to play with them because they are buddies. So we'll put some of these guys away. Again, same kind of thing we'll do for their enclosure, kind of setup wise. It's going to be very similar to the Leopard Gecko. It's going to be half play sand is what we do for ours, and then half at Eco Earth. Again, they are a terrestrial animal. They will do some climbing though, just like leopards. So you want to make sure you have enough space, in their enclosure to be able to have them climb around and jump around. Ours loves his hammock. He hangs out and sleeps in it for majority of the day when he's not running all about. But they make awesome pets. So guys, the big difference between, I would say, leopards and beardies is size. They're both awesome animals. They would never bite you. He is the sweetest little guys can be. It's funny, they really enjoy their baths too. So we soak ours quite often. A little Tupperware, kind of like this that this plant is soaking in now. That kind of helps them out with their shedding and stuff like that, because obviously see all the shedding here. They do shed, obviously a much bigger shed than a leopard would, but you do want to make sure he's soaked enough to be able to get that off. Again, with all reptiles, you never want to pull at shed, unless it's stuck. So stuck shed is different than your regular shed. You want to help them out when you can, but that's pretty much it, guys. Diet's very similar, care is very similar. Tank size is a little bit different here. He's running around on my shoulders. He will sit and chill with you forever if you put him on him, if you put him on you. But other than that, guys, the real difference, I would kind of give him a score of about 4 out of 5. He's an awesome animal. I kind of rate that between the size and enclosure. That's really only the downfall, I would guess, is just sizing and care needs in comparison to a leopard. I would say they're pretty hand in hand. So your Leopard Gecko, we're going to give that a score of a 5 out of 5. So it's a great beginner reptile. They're on the smaller side. That's the only reason I would say they win and take the cake. These guys do require a little bit more care than your Leopard Gecko would. He's going to try and jump down just because of size. So the leopard's going to take the cake today over the bearded dragon. Again, it really depends on what you want. So make sure you do your research before you purchase any kind of an animal, especially reptiles and amphibians. We'll kind of walk through some other best animals, best beginner reptiles, and some pros and cons to other ones as well. Again, we have all different kinds of animals here at the household, but we'll keep updating y'all on that. We're going to be posting Tuesdays and Fridays, so make sure you stay tuned in. Leave a like and subscribe down below. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.